What is going on, people? Welcome back to the Football Casual. Today we're doing something a little different. I said I'm going to try to switch up the videos. We're still going to get the match reactions, still going to get some J League content, but I also want to throw in some fun, different types of content. I got quizzes coming, I got 11s coming, but why not do some reaction content too? Because I like debates, and this football YouTuber that I subscribe to, Zach July. Shout out to Zach. I've been watching him since he was on Football Daily, Euro Football Daily, whatever. And he's gone on to continue to make good podcast style format on nothing but football that he does on YouTube, kind of keeping that Football Daily tradition alive. But now he's branched off into doing some debate type videos. It's kind of like the Jubilee format, but he's adapted it to football, soccer, whatever. So shout out Zach. I think it's been cool seeing these videos do well for him. And I said, why not react? I'm very curious to see how these go. I'd watched some, like parts of some of them, but I was like, you know what? Let me save it for reactions. So I want to just react to it in real time. And I'm mainly going to be basing it off of the debate. I'm going to be judging the actual points they make. Obviously, I'm going to have my opinions. Some stuff I might not know, because these guys in these videos are generally older than me, a little bit older than me. So they're going to go back and debate stuff that's before my time, before I was actively watching. But still, I'm gonna have my opinions on some things. But mostly I want to be judging it on the debate. So let's hop into this one. I figured I might as well do the most recent one. This one is one football Twitter fan versus 20 Premier League fans. I just jumped to an interesting argument, which is made by a Chelsea fan, actually. So I figured why not? I cover Chelsea. Let's see what they're talking about.
An all-time London 11 would be Chelsea players and Omri and Bale.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
There we have it. I'll give everyone like little 10 seconds just to think about
That's interesting.
Being their all-time London 11.
Chelsea has a fair few players in there. I'm not gonna lie,
two,
but
one,
just
go.
Henry and Bale.
Anybody believe
Okay.
that an all-time Spurs? I wonder if he's going to back Spurs players or if he's going to back any Arsenal players. There we have it.
Big league me.
Wow. Seb, mate, go crazy.
The first one I just wanted to talk about is right back. Who are you putting forward for right back?
I could go Azpilicueta, I could go Ivanovic, I could go Reece James. I'm going Azpilicueta. Won everything.
It's
Carl
Walker.
Carl Walker at City?
No, but Carl Walker out.
I kind of like people laughing at Aspi like he's some kind of bum. Hold up, this is the club legend, low key, or at least club icon, captain, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking that Azpilicueta disrespect right there.
Spurs.
Won everything. I could go Azpilicueta, I could go Ivanovic, I could go Reece James. I'm going Azpilicueta. Won everything.
It's Carl Walker.
Carl Walker at City?
No, but Carl Walker at Spurs is still better than any right back that you've had.
Carl Walker at Spurs was getting spun for fun. Let's not.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Factually,
I watched Juan Mata kick that man in the stands and set up Sturridge. He was poor.
In what, the first year or two of his career?
If we're doing a quick team, Gronkyard gets in on the right side with Walker.
Yeah, that's cool. I know what you're trying to do, but in terms of a player,
Azpilicueta could defend better than Walker.
I mean, Azpilicueta played a lot of his career at centre back.
Goals than Walker.
Played at centre back.
That's true.
That's
true.
But he is a better.
That is true. If we're talking about Azpilicueta, you have to say he's not only a right back. He has his minutes shared a lot across the back line, so I could hear the Kyle Walker argument. At Spurs though, that's not peak Kyle Walker. So
you're putting Azpilicueta in
easily over Walker.
So does Kyle Walker's City career count for nothing?
No,
I don't think it counts for nothing. I don't think it can count for something. It's got to be at the time in a London club.
Okay. At Spurs, Kyle Walker.
Ruud Hullit's not in my team. Samuel Eto's not in my team.
Kyle Walker in his peak at Spurs.
Wasn't it
16, 17. Okay, he wasn't in his peak at Spurs, but his peak year at Spurs is better than any year that any Chelsea back had at Chelsea.
Well, Azpilicueta was lifting the league that season.
No, trophies, fair enough, but that doesn't attest to a player's total quality.
I'd say that Kane and stuff like that were delivering for them.
If you were just building a team, you wouldn't have Kyle Walker, 16, 17, one of the best right backs the league has seen.
No.
And obviously what he's gone on to.
He wouldn't even be ahead of Ivanovic. He wouldn't even be ahead of Ivanovic.
I rate Azpilicueta. Underrated defender, very good. Preferred him in a back.
I do think low-key this Chelsea fan is trying to rage bait. I'm not going to lie. I hear his argument. If you want to talk about trophies, you want to talk about defensive records. I mean, Azpilicueta is up there. I'm curious to see where they go with this. I do think I have a suspicion bro's rage baiting. I'm not gonna lie, because you can make arguments, but I don't know. If you're being honest with yourself, are you taking Azpilicueta even as a Chelsea fan? If I'm being honest with myself, am I taking Azpilicueta over Kyle Walker? Even Spurs Kyle Walker? I don't know, that recovery pace is something I'd want to build into my 11 personally. But if you're gonna say no City involved, no City Walker, then I'm curious to see where the rest of these arguments go.
Back three on the right
I wouldn't
centre
have
half.
the best version of him ahead
Yeah,
of
you would,
the
though.
best version of Reece James, and he wouldn't even be in the team yet.
But you would have Kyle Walker ahead of them. Okay,
No, I wouldn't.
what is Aspilicueta better at than Kyle Walker?
Defending, leading, passing, shooting. Like
Shooting.
he's quicker.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
he
we
is.
doing
He would score more goals than Kyle Walker would. Kyle Walker was quicker than him.
I mean,
That's
Kyle
it.
Walker in that season, I mean, on the overlap, defensively, 1v1, one of the best defenders 1v1
1v1,
he's ever
but
seen.
Easily.
Aspilicueta is a crazy.
Aspilicueta's best football is probably playing the back three on the right side of centre half.
He could do everything. He's probably the most
He could do
versatile
everything,
defender anyone.
but as
He
an out-and-out right back in a flat back four, he doesn't touch what Walker did.
But he still, because he literally won more playing in that position than
No,
Walker
you
did.
can talk about what he won.
No,
but
I'm
as
saying
as a
he
player,
excelled in that position compared to Walker at Spurs.
He
We're not
excelled
saying the
in-
best years of Walker anyway.
he excelled in that position. I mean, Kyle Walker for a 3-4 year stretch at Spurs. There's a reason why they broke the transfer record for a right back at that time. Spent £50 million on
Yeah,
him.
because they Jesus
And bought him
Navas at
because
right
that
back.
was
They needed a right back.
Sure.
Yeah,
You're off, Seb. It was interesting. Didn't
That
think
is
it'd
true,
be
but-
so on it for a for Aspilicueta. 3-2.
yeah, the right back. I'm not. I mean, I guess he's a Spurs fan.
Let's remember. Let's wait till my countdown, fellas.
He's a Spurs fan, so he was gonna come in with the right back argument for Kyle Walker. Didn't come in and argue Harry Kane. Interestingly, very interesting. Didn't come in and argue Harry Kane. But I guess if he's putting Henry in there, then yeah, there's no argument really. Okay, that's fair enough. Didn't come in and argue Son, but I assume I know why. Our boy Eden. But yeah, okay. I don't know. That one, based on the arguments, that one can go either way. One's arguing individual quality, one's arguing accomplishment. So you can't really, like, that's just what you prefer in a debate, but you can't really go either way on that one.
Let's start on a countdown, but okay. Our Arsenal are coming up. Rory, go ahead. Go ahead.
We've got two
Yep.
from Arsenal. Now I don't know what formation you're playing in this combined 11. If you want a 10, Dennis Bergkamp has to be in there for me.
Okay.
No, I'm not playing a 10, to be fair.
Okay,
So
fine.
my
That-
team would be, it'd be Czech,
So you got-
Courtois,
Okay, let's name it.
Terry, Carvalho, not Ivanovic, Aspilicueta, Ashley Cole.
It's fine. It's fine.
Ashley Cole, Makelele, Lampard, Kante, Hazard, Omri, Bale.
Okay, fair enough. So you want a 3-man midfield.
Yep.
Patrick Vieira.
Okay, so this is interesting. So he's gone. Okay, back four, check. Okay, I hear Terry Carvalho, defensive record partnership, Ashley Cole. I get it. You know, you could argue Ashley Cole for Arsenal or Chelsea. So, I mean, I guess I can go either way. Aspilicueta, you could hear the Kyle Walker argument. Then he put 2 8s and a DM. He put Conte, Lampard, and Makelele behind them, I believe. So it's a little specific because here's the thing: if he's coming in with his own formation, then now it's going to be tough to argue. It's like he wants to put in Bergkamp. How are you going to fit Bergkamp into that formation in terms of exactly how he wants to set up? So it's a bit of an unfair argument to come in with, because then the Arsenal fan could come in and say, "No, I want to play." I assume maybe he's about to say it, but I want to play a 10. I want to play 2 8s behind that, or I don't know, 8 and a 6 or something, like, you know, a double pivot. Then it kind of changes the whole thing. Or I want to play a second striker. Then you can really argue Bergkamp in there. And, you know, it's not really okay. Let's see where this goes.
Vieira's got.
Hazard, Omri, Bale.
Okay, fair enough. So you want a 3-man midfield.
Yep.
Patrick Vieira's got to be in there ahead of
But
Makelele.
you're going box to box ahead of. No, it wouldn't be ahead of Makelele because he didn't
Or
play when
Kante
Makelele did.
then.
He'd be ahead
Play-
of Kante.
Or you play Kante as the 6 and Vieira as the 8. Whichever
Kante
way you
didn't
want
play
it.
there either, though. They're not sixes.
Okay, so,
So
you're
he'd be going up
specifically
against
naming
Kante.
Makelele as a 6, but you'd have to have Vieira in that midfield. You'd figure
You-
out a
what-
way.
you'd-
If you had
he'd
all of
warm
these
bench.
players, no, he
He
wouldn't.
would, because
No, he
what
wouldn't.
Kante achieved, he could not achieve what Kante did. He couldn't. He
What
couldn't
did Kante achieve that Patrick Vieira didn't?
win the league with Leicester, go on to win the league
Okay,
with us
but-
back to back with 2 clubs.
Well, winning
Vieira
the
never
league
did
at
that.
Leicester,
He
Vieira
was-
never played it.
Okay, well, now I'm not gonna lie, you lost your argument, bro. You lost your argument. Here's my thing: Conte might go, bro. Like Conte, I love N'Golo Conte, and I would pick Conte over Vieira because obviously I watched Conte in real time. I've only seen Vieira retroactively. So from my generation, I can't honestly sit here and say Patrick Vieira. I'm just gonna be real with you guys. But I'm sure if you've seen them both, I'm sure it's people probably go Vieira, or maybe it's more competitive there. He's making an argument that it has to be the Conte, Lampard, Makelele because of the positions they played. So Vieira can't get in the six, and then he has to go back to go to war with Conte. Okay, that's it. That's kind of strict, but fair enough. But then you're gonna say Conte won the league for Leicester after you said Kyle Walker. We can't count the Man City years. What? What? Am I missing something? And shout out Tobes, Chelsea fan. I had no like I was had there's literally nothing in this video, no beef, anything like that. This is literally just for fun. I'm just talking about the debates. But this got to be rage bait, bro. He literally just broke the exact rules he set at the top of the 10 minutes. So that right there, even though I go Conte personally, off the argument, you can't use that.
Leicester.
He also
That's not really
Vieira didn't win the Champions League. Kante got back-to-back man of the matches in the semi-final, the man of the match in the final. He dominated that. It's one of the all-time individual Champions League campaigns. Vieira
That's
never
true.
had that.
Patrick Vieira captained Arsenal as an invincible.
True.
However you want to rank that team,
and that's what I'm saying.
that was an achievement.
Kante won back-to-back Premier Leagues at different clubs,
World Cup,
including the biggest fairy tale.
Can't count Leicester though.
As an all-round player, had more to his
World
game.
Cup,
You could
Kante's got that.
absolutely play him as a 6 if you needed to. He's also an 8, getting forward. Like
He wasn't a
if
6.
you had,
he played in a double.
I wouldn't.
If you are arguing Petit over Makelele, you can go for that. That's fine.
No, I'm arguing
Vieira wouldn't go against it.
I'm arguing Vieira. You've tried to set it up in a way where you say, well, Makelele has to be the 6.
True.
No,
True.
I said Petit could compete with him there, or Gilberto Silva. You can go with either of those, but Vieira's competing with Kante.
But Vieira is a better player than both of them, and if you had him at your disposal...
Vieira is not a better player than Kante. Kante is one of arguably the most unique profiles there's been in the game. But I don't think you can compare him with anyone. Vieira, you've had players who are box to box and physical. It's not...
Okay, but I would move Makelele out, because I think...
I hear that. That's an interesting argument. Because of Conte's uniqueness, you can't really argue against him. That's fair, but you can say you prefer Vieira's style to Conte's style. You know, like I said, I still go Conte, but that's a more reasonable argument. And he talked about all the accomplishments and stuff, which I don't know if we count like World Cup. They started bringing up World Cups, all that stuff. I thought it was just what they did for the London club, but I guess you could say what they won while they were with the London club. Okay, fair enough. That's more reasonable, not the Leicester thing.
You would agree Vieira is a better player than Patrick. Vieira is a better player than Makelele.
We're playing with a 6. We've got 2 gates, so.
Okay. Well, I would argue that a better team would be to play Kante, Vieira.
Look, I'd say Thiago Silva's a better player than Azpilicueta, but I'm not just going to shove 3 centre-backs in.
That's just not playing a 5 at the back.
Yeah, but I could.
But you've built a very specific
argument. But you're trying to change formation here. I've
because
built a
you've
team.
set a formation.
Because
that's rage bait.
What is the most template team?
We're not playing FIFA.
I know the most template team.
You're not tied to a.
Most teams have a defensive midfielder, so why would we not be debating whether one's in there?
For example, right now Arsenal play with kind of a 6.
No, Zubimendi sits.
But that would be better with a Declan Rice, which is very similar to a Patrick Vieira. So you could use both of them, Kante, Vieira, and a 10. That would be a better. I would argue, in fact, a better midfield would be Kante, Vieira, and then Dennis Bergkamp.
Without Lampard.
Yes, without Lampard. So that would be a better all-round team because you're trying
He's nowhere near.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. He's setting a very rigid formation, which forces Makelele to be in the team, which is interesting. Now he's trying to come in and make it more of a 4-3-3 attacking formation with the cam. But then if you bring in Bergkamp, now I know for a fact Tobe is not going to be like, yeah, we're going to let Lampard go out of the team. No way, no shot. He's going to let that go.
He's nowhere near those players. Vieira's a brilliant player, but you'd be better off arguing Fabregas than Vieira.
I don't need to. I'm arguing Patrick Vieira.
A top player,
and also Fabregas was a Chelsea player, so you'd go, oh, he's a Chelsea player and he went more
I'd say Fabregas was better at Arsenal than he was at Chelsea. No, I would say that Fabregas was better at Arsenal than he was at Chelsea. I think there'd be more valid arguments in that, but Vieira was not anywhere near as top a player as Kante was. He was brilliant. I'm not saying he wasn't.
So sack Makelele. Stop talking about Kante. Sack Makelele off. Find a way
because you're asking me.
Kante and Vieira and a Dennis Bergkamp, the best 10 arguably in Premier League history.
I'd argue Palmer already's cleared Bergkamp.
Okay. Chill. Oh hell no! That's where you bring in the Michael Jordan. No. No. All right, bro. He's rage baiting. He's clearly rage baiting. He's absolutely 1000% rage baiting. I had let it go. I wanted to see where they were going to go with that. And to be fair, the debate kind of did reach a standstill because if neither's going to budge on their formation, you can't really come to a consensus. I think beforehand they had to agree, okay, this is the formation. I guess you have to go off of the debater, the original debater's argument, maybe. So maybe you have to sit with that DM in the formation. But then once we bring in Bergkamp, says for the 10, if we want to argue a 10, and he says Palmer's already cleared him. Come on, bro. I mean, to be fair, I didn't even watch Bergkamp live, but I've seen Bergkamp tapes. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Different breed. Not to say Palmer can never eclipse Bergkamp. Palmer's still young in his career, and clearly he has a lot of upside. I'm a big fan of Palmer, but to say in 2025 Cole Palmer's already eclipsed Bergkamp, let's let's not just start arguing for the sake of argument, bro. That's rage bait. He's trying to bait, and you can see the reaction from the room, like, whoa, what's going on here? So let's see how this one plays out. That's actually funny, though. I'm not gonna lie.
And Vieira and a 10, Dennis Bergkamp, the best Dennis arguably in Premier League history.
I'd argue Palmer already's cleared Bergkamp.
Oh, crazy.
But look, the day that
I can't send him off. I can't send him off. That's not
God, he's lost his own debate.
Even if you look at Zach, who's hosting it, is also a Chelsea fan. Look at his reaction.
And a 10, Dennis Bergkamp, the best Dennis arguably in Premier League history.
I'd argue Palmer already's cleared Bergkamp. Bergkamp.
Zach. It's like, whoa, bro.
I can't send him off.
That's crazy.
God, he's lost his own debate.
That's crazy.
Bergkamp can't even step on a plane. How is he going to get in this team and play abroad and play in the Champions League finals that these players would? He wouldn't even be able to do that.
The Eurostar. You got to think about these things.
Who was your left winger? Hazard. Is there any debate for you on the left at all?
I mean, Alexis Sanchez. That's the Sanchez.
No.
I wouldn't fight for it in the way that I would fight for
Okay.
No. I'm not even. I'm glad he didn't even try to really put up an argument there. When people try to argue Alexis Sanchez and Hazard, I'm not having it, bro. I'm not having it. Maybe some other Arsenal fans are gonna come up here and argue that. I'm not having it. We're not gonna rewrite history and pretend like we didn't all think Hazard was better in real time, bro. Let's not go there.
You happy to watch?
I wouldn't fight for it in the way that I would fight for Vieira.
Okay. I mean, Vieira's, you're happy to watch? That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Rory, well done. Another one where he's walked. There's your yellow card as well. We've still got 3 minutes left in the debate. If anybody else, go on, my friend.
Another Arsenal fan. Okay.
To the debate. Another Arsenal fan, of course. Mids, go crazy.
So, just remind me again, who's in your backline for this all-time London 11?
Czech, Ashley Cole, Terry, Carvalho, and Azpilicueta.
Whole Chelsea backline.
I don't see how Carvalho gets in there above Sol Campbell. Personally, Sol Campbell is one of the most, I think, underrated legendary centre-backs.
Damn, 2 yellow cards already.
Slide tackle where we went 50 yards. But let's be real for a second. Carvalho is...
And to be fair, I don't think I explained the yellow card system. Basically, I mean, you probably could tell already. They argue, and the person who comes up gets to argue. Then the people in the background who are also there want to get in the seats, in theory, can put up yellow cards. If they reach 10 yellow cards, it goes to a red card, and the person who came up gets booted. And he already has 2, just saying Sol Campbell. I'm not going to lie, it's crazy.
Guy that could win Champions League with Porto, come to England, win back-to-back.
Hey, hold on.
Legendary centre-backs.
Sol Campbell, he had that great slide tackle where he went 50 yards. But let's be real for a second. Carvalho is a guy that could win Champions League with Porto, come to England, win back-to-back, set the defensive record. And even in 2010, he was still winning titles and going on to Real Madrid. Like, Sol Campbell.
Okay, everything he said there is a fact. Carvalho is Mourinho's boy. But didn't we just say 5 minutes ago that we're not counting Kyle Walker at City? And then he came in and said N'Golo Kante at Leicester. And now he's saying Carvalho at Porto. And then he went on to Real Madrid, whatever. None of that counts, bro. None of that counts. I mean, I still think his time at Chelsea speaks for itself, but that stuff is irrelevant. That is literally irrelevant. And I know this video looks crazy. I'm out here really picking on the Chelsea fans' arguments. But I agree with him in some of the stuff he's saying, but the arguments themselves, I'm like, I don't know about. But the actual players he's picking, I can hear.
Great FA Cup win at Portsmouth. Well done. But he's not on the level of Cavalier.
We're not going to skip over the fact that he is in the defensive partnership for the Invincibles, right? We're not going to do that. Like, he didn't win a Premier League
we didn't
title.
knock them out of Champions League and then go acquire Cavalier and go back-to-back and set a defensive record with more points.
We're talking about in the Premier League. We don't care about Champions League. We're talking about Premier League.
Yeah,
right?
that's so classic not to care about Champions League.
You said Premier League.
Yeah, but it's an all-encompassing thing.
Why are we talking about extracurricular?
Because it's an all-encompassing thing. I said an all-time London 11. That also requires what they did in all other competitions. Gareth Bale, for example, we're talking about him in terms of the player he was. Like, you've got to factor that in.
I just think there has to be a way that either, if it's not Sol Campbell, then I'm going for
Sol Campbell doesn't even get ahead of Thiago Silva. Like, let's actually call it a spade. He was a much better player than Sol Campbell.
Look, no, I think...
No, he was. He was.
If
I know he left Tottenham.
Sol Campbell, Thiago Silva. I'm not going to, like I said about some earlier ones, I'm not going to pretend like I was watching Sol Campbell live. Thiago Silva, okay, obviously, big moments for us, Champions League, all that stuff, but we didn't even get peak Thiago Silva at Chelsea. That was like end of the line Thiago Silva. A couple of years, but I don't know. I mean, even, I guess, I don't know. That's an interesting argument.
No, left Tottenham, so you guys like him, but he wasn't a better player.
It's not even about that. It's not even about that. If we're talking about Thiago Silva at Chelsea compared to Sol Campbell or even Tony Adams at Arsenal, that's two completely different players.
No, it's not.
You're not factoring Thiago Silva at AC Milan or Thiago Silva at PSG.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Champions League winning, that is fair. But we're not going to act like actual ability, that's like peak Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva. And part of setting the record in the Champions League, 4 goals conceded the entire year, Thiago Silva. That's who I'm talking about.
And I'm talking about Sol Campbell, who didn't even lose a single game in 49 games. That's what I'm talking about.
And Cavalier and Terry went, what, 44, 45? Like, who really...
Yeah, but you still lost the game. That's what I'm talking about.
We lost the game and we set a better defensive record with more points and won more trophies and went back-to-back.
I hear that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
at the end of the day, I feel like Sol Campbell or Tony Adams has to be in that back line. 100%.
Mate, they would be competing with Robert Hoof as to who can come on first.
Okay, that's raised bait.
Robert Hoof won the league at Leicester as well. He's a good player. I'm not knocking it.
It's the dream team, yeah.
Well done, well done. We've still got 50 seconds left, I think. Yeah, just 45 seconds. Well, if you want to make a sprint across the midfield.
Another Arsenal fan. Where the Spurs fans at? Where the
40 seconds, mate. Go crazy.
All right, cool.
Palace or, you know.
Go cliche. We're not going to talk about all the main
cliche.
ones. Yeah, cliche. Hear me out with this one, yeah? Bukayo Saka on the right wing, just because.
Okay.
Because he wasn't there.
Not hearing it, bro. These Arsenal fans, bro, like, to be fair, the last two they came on, they made solid arguments. Even if I don't agree with everything they said, that's fair enough. Bro, these modern Arsenal fans with the SAKA glaze is, bro, I'm getting to the end of my rope with that. I'm not going to lie. And I like SAKA. I think SAKA's a good, really good player. But we're going to come on and say SAKA over Gareth Bale. Let's hear out his argument. But I'm fed up with this glaze, bro. I'm actually fed up.
I'm going to go cliche. We're not going to talk about all the main
ones.
Yeah, cliche. Hear me out with this one, yeah? Bukayo Saka on the right wing, just because he wasn't there that long. Bale on the right wing for that long.
Okay, he was trying to make the argument that Bale wasn't a right winger for Spurs that long. Okay, but come on. The quality speaks for itself, bro. The levels just speak for itself. And I'm glad that people put up the yellow cards. We're not having that, bro.
I was trying.
It was good effort.
And he seems like he's mainly trolling, honestly, so fair play.
Red card.
It's
We've
like
got 20 seconds left, Kirill. 20 seconds left, mate. Chelsea v Chelsea.
Chelsea v Chelsea, okay.
Ooh, who are you arguing?
Just to follow on what he was saying, can I interest you in a Michael Elise?
What, over...
Over Bale. No?
What? I mean, I did say like a minute ago, we're like the Palace fans, you know, there's some other London clubs other than just Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, but bro, what? Bro came in with Saka, Bukayo. You know, I just had to throw that in there. And he thought he could come in with Michael Elise over Gareth Bale, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, clearly bro's trolling. He's clearly trolling. Let's not take that seriously. And obviously they didn't take it seriously. They dropped him with the yellow cards quickly.
I tried. Okay, it's good effort.
Look at the reaction from Zach.
Michael Elise.
Look at his face.
Over Bale.
Look, he genuinely can't even comprehend what just happened.
What, over...
Over Bale. No?
I tried. Okay, it's good effort. Okay, there we have it. Kirill, you're off. Tobes, well done. Smashed it, mate.
Nice. Tottenham will challenge.
Okay. that's that. Shout out Zach Jalab once again. Go check out the original video. If you want, I'm going to do more. I'm going to react to more parts of this video. This is just, you know, I can't react to the entire video at one time. That's going to be like, especially because I'm yapping in between. That's going to be like an hour and a half long video. But I just want to react to one debate at a time. I'll probably come back and do another one in the future. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. I appreciate you for watching, especially if you made it this far. Drop in the comments. What do you think about the debate, the arguments? I agreed with some of what was said, disagreed with some of what was said. If we're judging it based off the debates, there's a lot of rage bait, a lot of inconsistencies, hypocrisies in terms of what we're counting, what we're not counting. So, I don't know, that can go either way. And drop your all-time London 11 in the comments. That'll be interesting too. Drop your all-time London 11. But yeah, drop that in the comments. Let me know. Appreciate you guys for watching once again. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, all that good algorithm stuff would be much appreciated. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.